But on that note, that has been the checkpoint. It's time to throw it over to the patch notes. So who's kicking us off with this first story?
That would be Fee.
Fee, take it away.
Hello, guys. How's it going, everybody? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by talking about one of the biggest announcements of this week, which was announcing PlayStation's new partnership with Discord, which I know we talked about a few podcasts ago where we were talking about the potential of Xbox, Microsoft and Discord actually not even collaborating. They were just planning on buying them out. That did not happen. That fell through. And instead, Jim Ryan, the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, announced this week that they're actually coming out with a partnership with Discord, allowing Discord on the PlayStation Network, which is awesome. I did post here specifically what he actually said in his announcement. At PlayStation, we are consistently looking for new ways to enable players around the world to connect with one another, form new friendships and communities, and share fun experiences and lasting memories. It's in the spirit that we're excited to announce a new partnership with Discord, the communication service popularized by gamers and used by more than 140 million people every month around the world. Together, our new teams are already hard at work connecting Discord and our social and gaming experience on PlayStation Network. Our goal is to bring the Discord and PlayStation experiences closer together on console and mobile starting early next year, allowing friends, groups, and communities to hang out, have fun, and communicate more easily while playing games together. To bring these experiences to life for our players, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made a minority investment as part of Discord's Series H round. From our very first conversation with the co-founders Jason Citron and Stan oh my gosh,
Vishnevsky, I think. I think that's how you say it.
There you go.
I'm guessing. I'm also guessing. I don't know how to say that either.
You made it sound as perfect as it could be.
Yeah,
Okay.
as perfect as it could be and much better than my dyslexic butt could actually say. I was inspired by their lifelong love for gaming and our team's shared passion to help bring friends and communities together in new ways. Empowering players to create communities and enjoy shared gaming experiences is at the heart of what we do. So we are beyond excited to start this journey with one of the world's most popular communication services. While there's no specific ETA on when this will be released, we are looking forward to seeing what this partnership brings to the gaming community and experience. Keep an eye out on any of sort of updates. They said that they're going to be posting it on the PlayStation Twitter as well as the Discord if there are any updates. But yeah, I specifically wanted to read that out because it provided all the details that essentially that they could answer at this particular point in time. And it makes me really excited because it's not so much of a buyout that we were kind of worried about when it came to Microsoft. It's more of a partnership. And we see this a lot, especially right now, between Microsoft and Bethesda. So I really appreciate the fact that PlayStation is recognizing, like, hey, we're not going to take you over. All we're doing is we're creating a partnership between the two. And I think that's probably for the best and overall option. But what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I know we talked about this quite in depth when there was the rumors of Microsoft looking to buy out, and if I remember correctly, we were all pretty much in agreement that we would rather see collaboration. So this is great news. It was great to see that Sony's trying to work with the folks at Discord to help enhance their platform, but not just buy it out.
Sorry, Mario, you go first.
Well, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this is probably the more news that I would rather have than them just being completely bought out by another company and just sort of like assumed in. I mean, for it to be Sony hasn't had a great record of taking a technology and assuming it. So I'm glad, though, it's a partnership, not necessarily them assuming, like Gaikai, right? Gaikai was the basis of PlayStation Now. We barely even talk about that service, even though I think we really should. But yeah, so I would say that being a partnership sounds great. I just don't know how soon or how well that this partnership will be implemented this generation. I could see it maybe next generation being as more of a more in-depth sort of functionality, because it's sort of poaching on a lot of services that PlayStation has already created. Now, granted, would it be great to have all of the functionality of Discord, like the text channels, the groups, obviously, the different voice channel rooms. I mean, that would be incredible. I just don't see it being implemented anywhere near close to this generation, only because they put a huge emphasis on these new groups that they created for PlayStation. Even if it's basic things, I think, but like as key things, like how we're doing stuff like right now, where we're like, I'm sharing the screen, right? So people can actually, you know, stuff like that, you know, whenever we watch things, like, are they going to have similar functionality right on the PlayStation? I don't know. And then how is that going to go with their, you know, the I can never do the proper HDCP. Is it?
Yeah, it's the
HDCP.
Yeah, like if that's going to have an issue with, you know, screen sharing and stuff like that. I'm just curious how it's all going to come together, because, you know, whenever a company or when someone does an app version on a console, it's never like the greatest. Other than like a streaming app, which is, you know, streaming apps for the most part.
So maybe I can shed a little bit more light into this, because what I think what they're gonna do is, since Discord probably has an API that they can take particular things out of that API. So like they could take, say, voice channels, or they can ignore text channels because texting is really tough on PlayStation, right? So like maybe they'll just take the voice channels, maybe they won't even do screen sharing, they'll just ignore that whole API right there, and they'll just do that one thing. In my opinion, this is an amazing thing because I hate PlayStation's voice shit. I hate it.
It's terrible.
It's so bad.
God awful.
And them taking I just hate it because all my friends, they're on PlayStation and they can't do Discord, and I have to do like in-game chat. And like with this, they'll have to be forced to use Discord, so I win.
I win.
I win. No, they'll have to.
But
use
what
Discord.
did it cost?
At what cost? Yeah. At what cost?
Sly gets that reference.
Yeah. But like, this is probably one of the biggest news, because like I wanted to Google how much Discord is worth. Right, 2021, it was evaluated at $7 billion. Right, so their Series H round that's going to be coming up soon. I think they're going to be invested, or they're going to be worth about 10 billion, maybe 11 at that point. So like, I don't like them making a partnership with Sony was probably the best news that could come out of all of this, because like you're just giving Discord money just Discord just will take the money, and they're just going to use their APIs for whatever they want to use, and that's it. That's really all it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably the best news, especially for Discord, because Discord will probably go public soon. They'll probably go public soon.
I think that's one of the reasons why Microsoft that deal didn't go through. Because at the end of the day, would you rather just take some money from Sony, right? Sony gets basically a early access kind of in the board meeting, you know, kind of buy-in, and then they go public, make even more money. But Sony's already in there, so they already have their stakes in the company. So might as well do it that way.
Yeah, because a lot of these, because I work for app development, right? So I make like apps and stuff like that for my day job. And when you work with APIs, you can take particular things out of a program and just use that. So I think they're just going to be using mostly like the text based, or not text based, the voice stuff out of that. And then I don't think they're going to have any of the screen sharing and stuff like that, because I don't think that's going to work well with PlayStation.
I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, right?
I do have a question though. What certain features from Discord would you like to see on the PlayStation?
Honestly, at least for me, I would just like to be able to have the servers, you know, that I already have linked to my account, so that when I want to jump in with friends, it's super easy and convenient. We can just hop into a chat. just having that access and that ease of convenience. That's like honestly the biggest thing for me, because I don't have a ton of people on like my friends list or whatever, and because most of the times we're playing, it's always on Discord. So just having that on my console, just being a quick, easy way to plug in would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the key thing. I do think that there could have been some interesting functionality with the shared screen stuff, but I know that Sony already does that. It's just no one uses it ever.
Yeah.
I feel like I do tend to then use it more when I'm in a group setting, and I agree with Sly 100%. I think the group setting is going to be what I keep use it for. I wouldn't mind using it specifically if I'm playing a game, right, and I'm talking to everybody in my chat, and just how like earlier Frank was playing Grand Theft Auto, and I could see all our faces and who's talking, right? I would love that API like that on my screen, like that graphic right there.
That right there would be awesome. Have an overlay over what you're playing and having to see what because like that helps me on PC gaming so much. When I'm playing Overwatch, when I'm playing Call of Duty, like Apex, I have to turn it on. But like having that option is really really nice. But the thing is, like they could use that and just replace what they already have when it comes to screen sharing. When it comes to PlayStation screen sharing, they can just take Discord's thing and be like, you know what, we're replacing our own with Discord's.
Yeah,
they could do that.
I do think that the two things that would come out of this is the ability to join groups and a voice and maybe video capacity. So like if we're in a Discord group and someone's on PlayStation, they can then still join into our group as if they were on a PC. Because when you think about it, these things are just overblown PCs anyway. You know what I mean? They just run on what like I think PlayStation still runs on Linux or some shit like that.
No, it runs on the same architecture as Xbox does now.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, they're just PCs at the end of the day. So it's not outlandish to think that they can maybe do something like just join into groups like it's like Discord's just a normal app, and then the overlay thing is something I would love to see, like to be able to see people's names on screen and be able to like see who's talking, who's not. I don't think they would do video necessarily because it would just probably be too much of a strain on the console. But in terms of screen sharing, I think they could do screen sharing from like showing your PlayStation like gameplay on Discord for like people who are on PC, mainly because they have the functionality on the phone. And if it works on a phone, it should be able to work on a $500 console. You would think, at least.
You think it also would work on the console itself too? Like you would just have a little screen that comes up in the corner. Like they had that. I mean, different. Like the Xbox One had it at one point, but it was obviously a whole thing that would slide to the side, and you would be able to watch things or whatever. And then even here, like even PS4 had it, where you would watch someone else play and then be like, "I'm in a hard part, so can you do this for me?" And then the controller access would actually go to the other person.
Yeah.
So these are all things
with a little bit of a delay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they were all able to improve on it, it'd be great. But like I said, I don't know how much of this functionality will be this generation. I will see it maybe in the next one. But at least it's in the conversation finally.
I see them doing voice channels for sure in this generation. I see that happening next year, 100%. It's all the other stuff that we all want. Yeah. Well, they said they're not going to have anything until next year. So, like, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yep. So I'm guessing in 2022 they'll have at least voice stuff. And you know what? That's all I want right now. That's all I fucking want. Like the whole with all your lists and all that kind of stuff, throw that into there. I'm okay. Like if that is what it's gonna be, I would love that. But like I don't need that. I just want to be able to like play with PlayStation people in Discord instead of doing that because it's so. Sorry.
What features are you looking forward to?
Honestly, just like you said, having the ability to get access to the people that I currently already have on my friends list. Maybe they might do something like, oh god, what is the I'm trying to think, like having some sort of integrated way that you could like put in your like PlayStation code or like PlayStation thing on Discord and having that like back and forth between the two. And maybe even having access to like if you're on your like computer and then you put in your PlayStation ID, like being able to like actually talk through your Discord. Like I know you can do it with Discord right now, but at least having like some sort of like easier access and abilities to like add people. Who knows? But hopefully it makes it a lot easier to get in contact because I used to, when I played a lot more on my PlayStation, I used to always just have my phone and I'd be connected to Discord and we'd talk to friends that way because the integrated system for PlayStation sucks. it sounds terrible, and I'd rather use my actual like computer or my phone even and do it that way than to use the PlayStation system when it comes to talking.
On
I
agreement
think
that like the PlayStation party system sounds absolutely atrocious.
Mhm.
Great. It's not great
Not great.
for a service that you pay
definitely
money
a great improvement for, Sony. Discord gets the extra little money, gets to, spread out to more audiences. I think overall this is just a great deal. We do have a very packed news show, so looks like up next we have a little bit of a Fee Stadia corner. Fee, what's going on with Stadia, huh?
Stadia.
for. Do we have a theme song? Play the theme song.
Stadia, Stadia, it's Fee Stadia. It's your time now.
Fucking nailed it. Let's go, State. Let's go, Fee.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction because I have some pretty not great news.
Oh no.
Both of these articles coming from IGN. The one specifically that I got the most information on though was the one specifically about the 6 employees leaving Stadia, done by Liam Wiseman. Unfortunately, not only was it announced that Stadia's head of product and VP John Justice moved from Google Stadia earlier this year, but it was also discovered that 6 key Stadia staff have left the company. However, all 6 have joined the newly established Haven Entertainment Studios in Montreal-based. It's a Montreal-based studio working on a new IP for Sony. The people who have left,
Jade Raymond Studio, right?
sure is.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Stadia Games and Entertainment General Manager Sebastian Puel, Head of Creative and Creative Services and Publishing Corey May, Staff UX Researcher Jonathan Dankoff, Graphics Programmer Pierre-Marc Beru, and we also have concept artists Erwin Lerozic and Francis Denoncourt. Haven Entertainment Studios was founded earlier this year by Jade Raymond, previously ran Google Stadia Games and Entertainment Studio, left the company to create her own development studio in Montreal, citing the desire to get back to what I love doing the most, and do so in a way that gives our team the freedom to explore, inspire, and create. The studio was quickly supported by Sony to develop a new exclusive IP for PlayStation platforms. It is not announced what they're working on, but they have currently been hiring, and honestly, like really AAA talent. And with Sony backing the title, we know that this is going to be incredibly important for Sony. And overall, just I'm looking forward to it. And God, it hurts a little bit.
Does this mean for Stadia? It seems like they're losing all their best people.
It's Google. They got Google money. They'll just hire somebody else, you know?
Yes. But in a way, a lot of these people were on the actual Stadia game studio, not specifically Google Stadia. And so a lot of the people that were working on the actual like visuals and stuff like that, they were going to be moved to I assume different departments anyway. Mind you, does it still suck that they've lost 7 incredible people? Absolutely. Does it look great for Google Stadia? Stadia, I love you, but this does not look great.
I want to ask you a question, Fee, about
Sure.
Stadia. Like, this is a legit question. Would you rather just have them not make games and just have games come on there on their service?
Well,
I thought that was the plan.
That's what they're already doing.
I know, but
Yeah.
like the thing is, like, was that the only studio that they had?
No, they had
creating something?
They had Google Stadia, and then they essentially purchased 3 indie studios and then burned all of them to the ground.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my big thing is like, I mean, they're just gonna publish games on, like, they're just gonna put games on there now. They're not gonna make anything probably for a while.
Correct. They have
Right.
no plans on making their own games. anytime in the near future, especially since they closed studios, including Google Stadia Studio, Google Stadia Studio. There's a lot of S's there.
You know what's funny about this? Like how this all worked out is because like
How?
I'm looking at Amazon, for example,
I
right?
was just about to mention that.
And it's like they're on polar opposite corners, but they're going through the same trajectory.
Yeah,
Like they're going to the same place.
At
in a
least
way.
Google Stadia isn't Luna. Let's be real here.
Correct.
Because Luna.
I'm talking
That's all
about
they
like,
got going for them.
yeah, like what Amazon had Crucible, right? Which pretty much died. They have New World that's coming out soon.
I think Frank
Which
killed
is
it.
like-
Frank killed Crucible personally, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard in the grapevine.
Yeah, we can't talk about that, but yeah.
There's New World.
I destroyed
There's New
Crucible.
World coming out, and then there's one more game coming out, and I don't remember what it is.
World that apparently looks promising, but still, I mean, it's an MMO.
Are you talking about New World? Yeah, New World is what you're talking about.
New World, yeah.
Yeah. Like everybody liked the beta testing that they had for it. For like it was a closed alpha, sorry.
Yeah.
And people actually enjoyed it for what that game was. But like, I feel like both companies are just getting to the same place, but they're just on two opposite sides. Where Amazon has companies and they're making games, where Google, it's like we don't have any more companies, but we're just publishing games. It's weird.
Yeah, at least one of them is definitely making money, and the other one is just kind of sitting there not doing anything.
Yeah, but I mean,
Luna-
again, you
Luna
said that
is
they
like-
have Google money, so they can pretty much do what they want.
Yeah. Is Luna
With
still
this.
technically in testing, right?
Yep.
Right.
Technically, yes.
Granted, hopefully we'll see if that rolls out in some big thing of like, hey,
Yeah.
the Fire TV has it on it. You know, it comes with a controller. Blah 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 blah. Hey, you Ubisoft fan? Well, guess what? Here's a channel for Ubisoft that is all the games that you could just play straight up there, and it's like, all right,
As
I
long
could do
as-
that.
Well,
I could
As long
that's
as they
what-
go as long as they go the Xbox way,
yeah.
beta test it as much as you possibly can.
Well, they already have Google Play access on Stadia for a lot of the US users. And so they already have access to Google Play. Oh my goodness, not Google Play.
You play?
Uplay Plus. They
Got
already
it.
have access to that through Stadia. So a lot of people who have Stadia are currently accessing it.
Mhm.
I've talked I've talked a lot about my feelings about what their move was earlier this year by closing their gaming studios, and honestly, it's not great. I'm not happy about it, and then seeing a lot of these like really like prominent names in those particular studios just now going over to Haven. I'm really excited for them, and honestly, I think this is a great move. Like overall, like I think for them and in their career path, I'm really excited to see what they do, and I'll definitely support them. But as a Stadia user and supporter, it was definitely difficult to hear. And I almost even didn't want to even talk about it this week because I'm like, great, because there's been so many people that have been using this to actually maliciously attack people who like Stadia and essentially saying, well, this is where Stadia is right now. Like, obviously, they should just close up shop and go suck it. So thanks people that I've been watching saying that consistently over the past week.
Yeah, those people are dumb. It's like this was already gonna happen, really, because this is remnants of the studio that was already kind of shut down.
I think they should have just focused on publishing these games on their platform.
That's what
and
they're
then
currently doing now.
Yeah, and then focus on creating games.
Because like for example, they did the same because right now they're doing really well when it comes to like game releases. You saw like Cyberpunk 2077 when they offered the actual like premiere package, and then they did the same thing for Resident Evil 8. And you're seeing a lot of these like big names and big games releasing on Stadia as well, on top of like the actual like consoles and PC. So you're seeing a lot of it now, and I think that, honestly, if I could run Stadia, that's what I would have done, at least for the first like 3 years minimum, is just like look at these big like they're already making these games. All they need to do is bring them onto my specific like console or my like streaming service, and I think that's probably where they got a little too like excited and they started purchasing studios like Microsoft and realized that's not in their path right now. Should they have continued and just specifically stopped and kept the studios they had? Yes, but that's just me. You don't know what's happening on the back end, but I think that was a bad move.
Fee, if
Yeah.
people want to hear all your Stadia thoughts, is there another podcast that they could find that?
Yeah, I can talk about that later on too.
All right, with that, Frank, am I throwing over to you for the next one?
Yes, so guys, our next article comes from Kotaku's Nathan Grayson. So an upgraded Yuffie version of Final Fantasy VII Remake is exclusive to PS5 for at least 6 months. So we got one final trailer for the integrated version of Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out this week, and Sony shed some light on the exclusivity of the version. Apparently, Sony says the exclusivity period for the title is at least 6 months. If that means that it is purely exclusive to the PS5 as to eventually release to the PS4, or that Final Fantasy VII Remake is eventually coming to other systems without the integrate upgrade, is yet to be determined. I do think it's kind of bogus to lock that game behind a PlayStation 5 upgrade, especially when you can't get PS5s right now. But the wording of that makes me think that it's just weird that they would lock it behind the PS5 and not basically say, hey, we're going to bring it to PS4 later. It just says it's exclusive to the PS5 for 6 months.
I feel like it's going to be a console thing where it's going to come to Xbox and PC in that time.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think too within the 6 months.
Is it going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake and Intergrade coming out? Because Final Fantasy VII's exclusivity is run out, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's out.
I just don't think they would do the two separates. Like, why would you do that? I mean, you might as well just wait the 6 months and then just do the full package, and you just get your
exactly. Yeah, now, like, I guess, at this rate, it would just be both now, right? Be Final Fantasy VII Remake and Intergrade at this point, and bring them out.
Well, you do have like there is some like exclusive version of, like, for example, Devil May Cry 5, right? That has a special edition that only has certain things that the PS5 and Xbox Series X can do, and it's not coming to PC, and it's not coming to past consoles, at least yet. Other than certain DLCs were kind of cut out of it, so it's possible that they could lock Intergrade, like some of the upgrades, behind. Like, let's say, for example, you don't get ray tracing, you don't get like all this other stuff, but we'll eventually give you the Yuffie DLC after 6 months. You know what I mean? Or we get a version of Final Fantasy VII on PC, for example, that has all the upgrades because it's a PC version, but without the integrate stuff, like the Yuffie stuff. I mean,
I kind of hope that they do both releases in one and just do like a combo deal in 6 months. Whenever this comes out, I don't know if this thing has a date. I forgot if this thing has a date.
It's like June or something. It's like
yeah. So like after the 6 months, I'm hoping they just kind of like do like a Kingdom Hearts thing where it's like, you know what, you get Final Fantasy VII Remake and you get the Intergrade together, kind of type thing. And like, it would be weird for them just to like. I was so excited this was honestly, I was personally excited this was a PS5 exclusive thing and not on PS4. Because it's like Square Enix just saying like, all right, we're done with PS4. Let's just jump over to PS5. Because I'm still scared that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is going to be a PS4 game. And I don't want it to be. I want that to be a PS5 game.
Well, no, not if that game is going to come out in like 4 years or 3 years from now, right? So
yeah, so I'm hoping that. Yeah, I'm hoping, but like, who knows, right? Because like a lot of people that played it on PS4, so I don't know. I don't know what they're
this is the official version saying, hey, it's like playing Last of Us remastered on PS4 or PS5 now, right? So there is a PS4 version that you could play, and then Last of Us 2 came out. So I think that this is their version of like, okay, if you're gonna play Part 2, whatever we're gonna call it, there is a you could play Part 1, right? But at the same time, for like the Yuffie DLC, like. To me, that just sounds like something they could easily just be a DLC at PS4. So that's why I'm just like,
yeah. Honestly, I probably because like looking at the game, I was just like, this looks exactly like the other game.
Yeah,
I don't know how people were going crazy how good it looks. I was like, it looks the same as Final Fantasy.
It's possible that it has the new lighting stuff, like maybe, like the new upgrades and all that, and then maybe just a PS4 can't handle it. But
the upgraded doors.
I doubt it.
Hopefully, upgraded doors. That'd be great.
Non-polygonal doors.
Definitely. I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know. I think timed exclusivity is whack in general. Sure. It doesn't seem to do any good for games. It only seems to come out as a detriment. But especially if it's a timed exclusive within your own ecosystem.
Yeah.
If that's where they're going.
That's what's weird.
It does not sound great to me.
No, that
doesn't
sounds
make
weird.
Sense.
I can see why Final Fantasy VII Remake is exclusive. Like, at least it is exclusive to PlayStation because it is a PlayStation game through and through, right? It came out on PS1. I can see that. But I do agree with Sly. It's like, at least put it out. Like, let everybody play this game. Final Fantasy VII Remake was such a good game. Let everybody play it. If you're on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, that's it because Switch can't handle it.
Well, Harv, if you want to play the whole story, it's already on the Game Pass, so you can play the original Final Fantasy VII right now.
Wow.
God, no. Don't do that.
God, no.
No. Play the original. I say play the original and then play Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't do one or the other.
I should see if it has like Xbox enhanced graphics. I got to see if they did anything different to that game. I doubt it.
Has anybody played the OG Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, I have it on my Switch.
Have you finished it?
I've not finished it.
Years ago, like we're talking like maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I barely even remember the story beats, let alone like how that game played.
I remember a meteor. That's all I remember.
I remember a giant boss battle. Yeah.
That happens like 7 times or 10 times in that game.
Yeah.
No, I'm. What I want to say at the end of this thing though is that I'm really excited for this. I want more Final Fantasy VII. I want more Final Fantasy VII content. Give me more.
It's a great game. Really.
But I think Nomura just said that recently he just said that the progress is going well on Remake 2, and that it's more like a jungle area as well and stuff like that. And I just wonder how that game's going to be because in Final Fantasy VII Original, the game went from being a little more linear in Midgard to like open world. So I don't know if they're going to do open world. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely see eventually in 2030 how that game turns out. Fee, do you have any Final Fantasy experience? Like this seems like when I think Final Fantasy, right, and I think of everything that happens in Final Fantasy, the way the characters look, the way the game, like the world it builds, the lore. I feel like this would be right up your alley, but I've never seen you talk about Final Fantasy. Why?
You hate it so much, Fee. Why do you hate it?
I'm actually kind of curious. I don't think I've ever actually asked you.
I watched Advent Children.
Oh my god.
Which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Advent Children was pretty good.
I thought you were gonna say I watched Final Fantasy, the other movie. I was like, oh god, no.
No, I've played
Yeah.
I've played a little bit of it, but I've never actually sat down and played a full game before.
Oh, I need you. Okay, I want you to play 15.
Yeah,
is a game that I want.
think you probably would enjoy 15.
Yeah, because the bromance between I think you're gonna like. I think you're gonna like 15.
Yeah, I think that'd be the one that would pull you in first.
Yeah, because you don't like turn-based games. Do you like turn-based games? Okay, so you don't like turn-based games. So
I played turn-based games.
But you like turn-based games.
I mean, like, depends on what you mean by turn-based game.
Like, you go into a battle and your opponent attacks you, and then you attack them, and then you wait for your bar.
I'm good with that.
You play the shit out of Darkest Dungeon, so
yeah.
Imagine.
Okay, so okay,
Well,
I have ideas for what Final Fantasy like. I think you would like if you like MMOs. 14, really fucking good, really fucking good.
Harv, I played World of Warcraft for 5 years.
Yes, so 14. All right, my next plan is to get Fee addicted to Final Fantasy 14.
So here we got Final Fantasy 15 as a recommendation. I'm gonna recommend you Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2.
Yes,
because those are the most anime fucking Final Fantasy games there.
10 is so anime.
I think one of them literally starts with a K-pop or J-pop fucking like concert.
That's the second one, yeah, X2.
Yeah, that's X2. 10 starts with like the blitzball shit, and then the place gets fucking destroyed and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those games are so
Always
anime.
available on PC, by the way, too. So if you did want to try them, they are on PC.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well,
I think I can get. I think I can get Fee into Final Fantasy 14. I think I can get her into Final because I'm jumping back into Final Fantasy 14 when Endwalker when it comes out, and that's all I'm going to be playing for like 2 months. So I think I
play games with us anymore. R.I.P.
Well, when Final Fantasy 14 comes out, no.
No, only the Final Fantasy 14 crew.
No, I need to finish the story because the story is probably one of the best stories that you could probably get in a game. It is so good. It is so good.
Oh,
It is
hold your
really
hat. So when we're doing Pip and Final Fantasy 14 comes out, we're just gonna show Harv stream of him playing.
Yeah. It's gonna be the new
Yeah.
Sekiro. It's gonna be the new Sekiro for at least 2 months.
No,
Yeah.
that's my experience with Final Fantasy.
Gotcha.
Decent. And on
Wow.
that note, I'm gonna give it over to Mario so he can talk about this other piece of news this week.
Yeah, sad day in the world of video game news for a lot of reasons. For this one, I took this article from GameSpot by Tamora Zane. Article is Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker, and Vinny Caravella leave Giant Bomb. Those three have announced that they are leaving Giant Bomb. The announcement was made live during Giant Bomb's podcast, where the trio confirmed that May 7th will be their last day at the company, which of course is today as recording. They are holding a special stream to mark the occasion. Giant Bomb was established by former members of GameSpot, along with Jeff Gersman, who will remain at the site, and Ryan Davis. Brad and Vinny were founding members of the website, which is really cool. And Alex has worked alongside with them for many, many years. It was, let's see here. They initially created a website called Screen, which is a website dedicated to movies and television. But this has been the one website that has culminated in so many years of people going to a place that they felt was real. You know, they cut the bullshit on the reviews cycle stuff. They just talked about games as honestly as they possibly could. You know, they don't even have reviews really on their website. They just have, hey, we're going to talk about this game while we show you some footage over it. And yeah, I mean, they have. So I'm going to tell a quick sad story. I got into Giant Bomb a couple of years ago when I was in a car ride with Michael Ruiz, former of DualShockers, and Logan Moore, formerly of DualShockers. And we were driving down to our friend Max White's wedding from Florida. So from like Indiana to Florida in one day. And we spent a good chunk of the hours just listening to the Giant Bombcast and Beastcast because that was their favorite show. And I haven't heard it really at that point. And I listened to it and everyone just they sound like us, right? They sound like us joking at each other. They have cues. They have different things that, you know, that we all love our podcast for. And immediately I was like, these are really cool people. I'm going to check them out. And there's two different Giant Bombs. There's Giant Bomb West and Giant Bomb East. This is primarily the majority of the people who are leaving are Giant Bomb East. So that seemingly is sort of the end of Giant Bomb East, which is probably the saddest part of this. The last episode they actually recorded on Thursday. It was episode 311, which was hilarious because they started doing a bunch of 311 jokes, which is pretty great. And then all the original members actually came back. So Dan Reichert, I believe it was Alex Walker, and then Abby also showed up.
Russell, I think her last name
Abby
is
Russell.
Abby Russell.
Abby Russell. And it was so great for them reminiscing and talking about the hard times, you know, talking about the old studio, talking about how ragtag it was and how like seemingly as unprofessional as five idiots on a voice call making a podcast as we speak. So it definitely was like heartwarming to be like, you know, it's no different, you know, in a work setting than it is, you know, people just getting together and telling fun stories and talking about things they love. And it was sad to hear them go. We don't know necessarily what they are doing. Which is a nice surprise that they could be working together or it could be separate things. I know that previous members have gone on to do, I know that Dan Reichert has gone on to do the podcasting for WWE because he's a huge wrestling fan. So that was actually kind of cool. He does the New Day podcast. The last member that is surviving on East is Jeff Bakalar, who is going to be remaining behind the scenes because he's actually in part of designing on what the new sort of direction of Giant Bomb will be. So I'm not necessarily know if he's going to start showing up on the other podcast that's on the West, but at the very least, he is in part of what the next direction will be with all these people leaving now. Could that mean more people being hired in a capacity or them changing up their, you know, because the whole thing about Giant Bomb is that there's no Patreon, there's no Twitch. There's a Twitch channel, but it's not like, hey, come here, we're streaming every day, give us your tips or, you know, give us your money. It's very much like, hey, it's an unlimited video channel that just constantly shows Giant Bomb stuff of over like 15 years of content, which is wild. So maybe they might integrate that in some way. Who knows? But the only way
they have a subscription, right?
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, I was going
they
to say.
survive by subscriptions. So they do these features like Mass Effect Alex, which was basically Alex Navarro playing through all the entirety of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, which is sort of in line what I'm kind of doing now with my Halo project. It's very much inspired by Giant Bomb. So it's definitely been a rough going knowing that this was happening. But at the same time, Giant Bomb is not going anywhere as of now. Jeff Gerstmann, who is the head of Giant Bomb, he is the G. So I'm really excited for him to stick around and see what we can do, because I know that I'll learn your histories with Giant Bomb. I don't know if anybody does, but the one last thing I want to say is the one thing that for me was every year at E3 they have a couch at the end of E3 or at the end of the day. It's called Giant Bomb at Night or After Dark or whatever it is, and basically everyone comes to their studio in a hotel and sits on this couch and gets interviewed, like Phil Spencer, people that have created some of your favorite games, Bunny Hunt, like all these incredible people, actors, music, like, composers, and it's wonderful. And one day I was hoping to be on that couch, and that couch, we don't know if it's still going to be there, so we'll see. But does anyone else have checked out Giant Bomb, or is at least considering maybe checking out Giant Bomb now that the site is gone?
The stuff that I love about the couch, because I used to watch that stuff all the time, the couch stuff for sure, because it was always after E3. But the thing that I loved about it is like they always had like beers and they just chilled.
Oh my God.
And just talked.
Drunk.
Yeah, it's just like that's probably the most honesty thing you can get out of that entire E3 weekend, because everybody's always on, everybody's always doing things, and like when you just sit on the couch, they just talk about what happened during the day, and just like they just talk honestly, right? That's one of the biggest things. I used to watch I do watch every now and then their Game of the Year stuff. Every year I watch that.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, because that's like 5-hour videos of them just talking about Game of the Year.
Yeah,
it's not really like it's like a whole week worth. Of things, right?
Different categories leading up to Game of the Year.
Yeah, because I love them making those. Like I love when they have those discussions and stuff, and then I sometimes listen to their podcast. But that's usually what my Giant Bomb thing was. Yeah.
No, for sure. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna say pour one out for Giant Bomb. Go ahead, pour out your glass, Harv. Just all over your new keyboard.
I have a new keyboard.
You're about to get one. You're about to get one.
What? Yeah. I was like, when did I get a new keyboard? What?
It got delivered. It's like, yeah.
Just, I have to say, like, even if you're not a fan of Giant Bomb, if you're in this space of, games, media, kind of podcasting, you know who they are, you've seen their work, and they've inspired so many others. And so, it's always hard to see these big names, step down, leave these projects that have been, the foundation for so many other content like them.
Yeah.
But, it's always exciting to see what they're going to do next, how they're moving on. Even though I'm sure it's very heartbreaking to all their fans who is losing that part of their week, for sure.
They're the progenitor of a group of people that left a bigger company to start their own thing, and we wouldn't have Kind of Funny, wouldn't have Easy Allies, we wouldn't have any of that stuff. No Clip, none of that crap.
I'm very intrigued to see where they're gonna go with everybody that left, and plus with what Giant Bomb's gonna be going forward as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's it for the news.
Well,
that's it for the news. Take it away, Sly.